Pretty much already covered the basic things that you guys should know about the Ainur. So we now proceed down towards the hierarchy, which is the free peoples of Middle-earth. The free peoples of Middle-earth were the four races that had never fallen under the sway of the evil spirits Morgoth and Sauron: the elves, the men, the dwarves, and the ents. There's an ant treatise quoting the lines from a traditional lay. First came the four, the free peoples, eldest of all the elf children. Dwarf the delver, dark are his houses. Ent the earthborn, old as mountains. Man the mortal, master of horses. So after encountering the hobbits, Merry and Pippin, the Ent consent that the hobbits are a fifth free people, adding a fifth line of the verse, half-grown hobbits, the whole dwellers. The elves were the first of God's children to be awakened, born under the stars before the moon and the sun existed. The elves has a deep love towards light, and each of them bestowed unique gifts by the god. They call themselves the Quendi, or speakers, the first inhabitant to utter words, and even now no race understands language and songs better as much as the elf does. They are beautiful, fair, and fine figures. They are immortal and strong, tall and agile. Simply said, they are the most blessed out of all the free peoples. So they also have skills and abilities beyond what is possible for men, and many can craft seemingly magical objects like the Silmarils. The elven skills and agility are beyond. Elves are light of foot, can travel long distances without leaving any tracks, so they can walk on a freshly fallen snow without leaving any trace of their passings. They have a pretty impressive hearing and sight, as they are able to see clearly in the dark just like in the day. On a clear day, they can see 10 miles with perfect clarity and detailed up to 100 miles. So that explains how they are a good archer. Can't get sick or scarred, but if an elf should die, they should die from violence or losing the will to live from grief. Their spirit goes to the halls of Mandostan, and as they are bound to the world, they cannot leave until the world is broken and remade. So these gifts comes at a great cost, though. They are strongly bound to the fate and hated by the Dark Lord Morgoth, because no other race has been blessed and cursed more than the elves. After the awakening, and Morgoth stole the Silmarils, and the Silmarils managed to be regained back by the elves. So after all of that happens, the elves starts to split apart, migrating to different paths, thus creating a subgroups. Some of the elves, the Elder, leaves Middle-earth to live in the blessed realm of Valinor, the Vala's place, and the Avari, who refuse the great journey. They don't want to go to the Valinor, they chose to stay in Middle-earth. The Elder who goes to the Valinor was then separated to three subgroups: the Vanya, Noldor, and the Teleri. So the Vanya and Noldor combine together and become Calaquendi, the High Elves, Elves of the Light, like Gil-galad, Galadriel, and Celeborn. While Teleri was separated to other four subgroups: the Falmari, the Falathrim, like Sea Elves like Círdan, the Sindarin, Elrond, Arwen, Legolas, and Thranduil, and Nandor. The Nandor is then separated into two subgroups, which is the Lyquendi and the Sylvan. The Lyquendi is green elves, and the Sylvan is like wood elves, like Tauriel. Fun facts: Galadriel is Elrond's mother-in-law because Elrond married her daughter Celebrian, and Aragorn is half elf, half man through Elrond's brother named Elros. I know it's a headache when you think about it. I think I already highlighted the main ones, and I shall leave it there as the hierarchy keeps going on and on and on. So somehow some of the groups of the elves goes back and forth to Middle-earth in their quest for the Silmarils and to help the other free peoples of Middle-earth in battles like the War of the Elves and the War of the Last Alliance. So that's pretty much all about the elves. Bearded and short in stature, a Valar named Aule the Smith created the dwarves, Khazad. He also invented the Dwarven language known as Kuzdul. So they were divided into 7 different groups: Stiffbeards, Stonefoots, Broadbeams, Longbeards, Firebeards, Ironface, and Blacklocks. The dwarf folk originated in the locations where the 7 fathers of the dwarves first awoke before the First Age, like Durin. Hence, they've been called son of Durin. The race of dwarves preferred to live in mountains and caves, settling in places such as Erebor, the lonely mountain, like what we've seen in The Hobbits, the Iron Hills, the Blue Mountains, and Moria, Khazad-dûm in the Misty Mountain. Dwarves is really good miners and craftsmen, as they mined and worked precious metals, treasures, mithril, gold, anything valuable throughout the mountains of Middle-earth. Durin III was in power around the Second Age. He was gifted with the seventh and most powerful of the Dwarven Rings of Power. It was the elven smith Celebrimbor and not Sauron who gave him the ring. So the Rings of Power did not have the effects that Sauron had intended as much, possibly because Aule had made the dwarves especially resistant to evil domination. So the only apparent effect of the Dwarven Rings was that the dwarves become more greedy with gold, but they were not turned into wraith like men. We can pretty much see the effects of the Dwarven Rings throughout the Hobbits trilogy. So the Hobbits basically tells a lot about the dwarves' life. Thorin Oakenshield, the heir to the throne of Erebor Kingdom, was leading other dwarves in their quest to enter the lonely mountain of Erebor to help reclaim back his throne, and stole the Arkenstone, heirloom of Kingdom of Erebor, from the vicious dragon named Smaug. The Bargeman managed to shoot an arrow to Smaug's weakest point using a black elven arrow. Since the dragon Smaug was killed, the lonely mountain of Erebor managed to be reclaimed back by Thorin Oakenshield. What's left is finding the Arkenstone or the King's Jewel inside the halls of gold and treasures. Fast forward, the good side managed to win the war, the Battle of the Five Armies against the Dark Lord Sauron. So Thorin dies, Balin reclaims Moria. As the years goes by, they manage to prosper in Moria, but unfortunately when they dig too deep for treasures and wealth, Balin and the other dwarves has awakened the Balrogs, the fiery spirits of Maya. So the Balrogs kills them all. That's why Gimli, son of Gloin, of the Fellowship of the Ring, found them all dead in the kingdoms of Moria. Why Gimli was there is because Gimli was the cousin of Balin, so that would be the facts of the movie. So we have completed part 2 of Peoples of Middle-earth. We'll be continuing with part 3 after this, the final part in the final episode of Peoples of Middle-earth, so stay tuned. Ciao.